huyu. Kuna kijana anasema kuna agent alimkoni 60 venye mlisikia kwa TV. So huyo agent amemtishia hadi huyo kijana amejificha, haizi tokea. So as media, siasa hapo hapa, tafadhali saidieni huyo kijana juu sasa maisha yake, unajua hii ni Kenya. Kuna agent aliongea hapo kwa TV. Kuna agent alisema kwa TV alikuwa amemkoni 60,000 kitu kama hiyo kwa TV. So huyo agent alimcall akamwambia watapatana. So huyo kijana amejificha, ametumiwa message, alikuwa akue hapa lakini hajakuwa hapa. So as a vice chairman lazima nipiganie watu wangu kama hawa. Yeah.
Anaitwa nani?
Alikuwa Citizen TV kama Citizen.
Good afternoon. Huyo kijana anaitwa Calvin Nyamweya. Tunaishi na yeye Thika, amejificha huko. Nilikuwa nimemwambia akuje. Nilikuwa nimemwambia akuje. So hata saa hii nikimpigia simu anasema bado wako kwa njia, so anaogopa maisha yake, amejificha huko. So tunaweza omba waziri uweze kufuatilia hiyo maneno, ndio huyo kijana aweze kusaidika na sisi pia tusaidike. Tumefurahia sana, tumejitokeza leo kwenye hii kamati ndio tuhakikishe hizi jobs zenye waziri anapeana ni za ukweli. Asanteni. Agent ya huyo mwenye alikuwa amekoni huyo kijana labda afike tu juu anakuja, akifika nitamleta hapa huyo
And it's also good for you to know, so because media is accurate, this person, this young man was conned by somebody who is not a registered agent.
Yes.
Unaelewa? Na aliposema amekoniwa kwa TV, huyo registered agent, huyo unregistered agent mkora ndio amemthreaten, not a registered agent.
Yes.
Unaelewa? Na wakati hao walimuita wakamwambia kuje hapa, akaogopa ya kwamba that huyo mtu ambaye alikuwa amempatia I think nearly 300,000 shillings amemkoni yeye, atafanya nini? Atamdhulumu. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba huyo kijana tafadhali, go to the nearest police station so that it can allow us to know who that person threatened you, ndio tushike yeye. Yes. So that person who threatened him, si agent registered, ni hao wakora wanakon watu. So huyo kijana si mtu anaogopa ati he was conned by these agencies. It's important to clarify, alikoniwa na other agents. Umeelewa? Brokers, mabroker. Na mabroker ni wengi sana. So it's important for you to note that for clarity. Sindio?
Yes.
It's important to note that because you can just say alikoniwa, amethreateniwa, ni watu wamemcon au conmen, na ni wengi sana Nairobi hii. Na wajua ya kwamba siku zao, let me say this, mnaweza kiti. Asante. The days of these con artists are ticking. You know, waanze kujitayarisha, waanze kunyoa nywele, wajue vile mtu anakaanga akiwa kipara, waanze kula maharagwe, you know, kama wanaishi nyumba za kifahari, wanaishi vizuri, wanazoea ile cheo ya kukalia, waanze kusport kwa sababu tunawapeleka jela. Waanze kuzoea maisha. Because hii kuibia vijana kama huyo kijana ameibiwa hiyo pesa yote, alafu anakuwa threatened. Kwa sababu ni wakora sana these agencies. Ndio wanapeleka watu mema, ndio wanafanya hiyo ukora yote. But serikali pia, we have already deregistered over 500 of these con people. Na hao bado wengine wanaendelea kufanya hii kazi. 500, we've already deregistered 500 agencies that were conning people through using a system where we talk to NIS, the Attorney General's office, a very DCI. We deregistered 500 of them, and I think every 2 weeks we are not renewing some of them because wamekuwa na tabia. So we want to know that person. Huyo kijana mwambia nitafute, alafu ndio tumsaidie kupata huyo mkora ambaye ni mkora ambaye si registered, ambaye anatuharibia jina. So finally I want to say this. There are people in this country that take advantage of people. When they know people have a need, they take advantage of them. They are the ones sending our people to be slavery in Myanmar and other countries. They are the ones who are conning people of hundreds and thousands of shillings and denying them an opportunity for them to be able to get work because those people are desperate. When I was doing the recruitment here, when we had the recruitment for Qatar, we had to call the DCI to raid an office right here in town that had opened and put up posters online overnight that they're the ones recruiting for Qatar, come with 150,000. And people are there ready to pay, and ready people by the time we send the DCI. Somebody anajitokeza akisikia Mutua ameannounce kuna program, hata yana form yake anasema ile program ya Mutua ya serikali ni hii, and they are not registered. So I'm telling people, please tafadhali, when you go to any agency, make sure that agency is registered. Do not give your money, because these are crooks. They're the ones threatening our people, and I want my people to be safe, and these are my people. You know, it's my job to clear and get them to go. It is also good to know that we're working with Youth Fund, we're working with the Uwezo Fund, and we want to be able to provide monies. When I got here, people are being charged 200, 250, 300, and I've said that you have to, and I've looked at the list. Why are you charging people so much money? Okay, how much is the ticket? How much is the medical? And I've been able to cut it down, so the maximum anybody can be asked for is 200,000 because of the fees, and they are significant fees. The exams you have to go and do, their payments of visas you have to do, and all that, so that they are below 200,000. And some of these people, they are cartels. They are very unhappy with me. They are very unhappy with Mutua. Mutua anatuharibia riziki yetu. Amesema maximum 200,000. They are extremely unhappy with me. And so I'm not surprised that they are out shouting what, because they want the system to go back to the way it was when they were taking advantage of our poor young men and women. But I will not allow that. We will not allow that. And so mimi nimezoea, by the way. Hiyo kuatakiwa nini nimezoea. You know, I've been in this game for a long time. Nimezoea because it's when you're doing something, that's when people attack you. Ningenyamaza tu endelea na status quo, ingeendelea tu, and all that.
Mtiaina matunda haishangwi mawe.
Mtiaina matunda yurushangi mawe, ni kweli ya. I don't think there's anything else I've left, Katibu.
I can maybe re-emphasize.
Yes, you can re-emphasize. Let my Katibu re-emphasize. When you put headlines of countries, the countries panic and they slow down in provision of visas for our people. So it's very important that you also get both sides of the story before you mention foreign countries, because they can lock out Kenyans. Because they're asking, why are we mentioned in Kenya? We're never mentioned in Uganda. We're not mentioned in South Africa. Why Kenya? So it's also good to think responsibly. You may also be cutting short the opportunities of many of our struggling people. That's just a community service request. It is not an order, just a request for you to consider how you do these diplomatic things. Very, very important, especially when you are questioning something that there is actually a real story of what is going on. But you're only getting one side of the story and running with it because it is sensational. Number two, before they can get a few passports, I give them passports here while they are traveling. Some of these visas came out 2 weeks ago. They have been in process. Some people have already traveled today. Others traveled last week. Hata ikelele kiendelea, people are still traveling. And we're not going to stop. Mimi, my eyes are on the ball. Mimi nimejua mambo hii kukua distracted sijuangi mimi. My eyes are on the ball. Na mwisho kabisa, public service announcement. We will be releasing a hotline next week for people to report harassment, especially by managers who are forcing our girls to sleep with them so they can get jobs or get promotions, and even firing them. And I hear pia, nimepigia simu na pia some of your people in media who are facing the same problem. So don't be afraid to talk to me if you're facing the same problem. And so we'll be having a hotline, and we will be able to ensure that you know, some of us have daughters who are mature. You know, we have sons who are mature, and I don't want my son anaenda hapo. Some of you have boyfriends, have girlfriends. Anapata kazi, unamuona ameenda amepata kazi, ameandikwa for 2 weeks, yuko gloomy kwa sababu hataki kuambia ile vitu alienda kufanya huko ndio apate kazi. Na nyinyi mnajenga nyumba. So this is something that is, sexual harassment is a reality. We have to deal with it. So I'm compiling names of companies. So next week, tunaweza announce a few companies that are notorious for some of these behaviors. But we get the hotline so that we can be able, as a government, we can be able to combat this. And we look at regulations and see how we can arrest. Ndio hao wengine hao predators. These are predators. Waekwe pingu. Kwa hivyo manager, mali huko, saa hii unafikiria funga zip. Uende nyumbani kwa bibi yako. Wacha kusumbua wasichana wetu. You know, ama wewe mama, Waharia na wengine wachana na vijana wetu. Waache vijana wafanye kazi. Si ni ukweli hiyo? Wanasumbuliwa sana hao vijana. Wanaambiwa wako na stamina. So wako na shida sasa. Wanasumbuliwa sana so that wasonge mahali. So, asante sana. Let me just do this. I decided, I talked to the Senate before coming here and I said I'll issue a statement. I don't want to go outside the realms of anything that I'll say in the Senate.
It's just based on what you've said.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically maybe you can just help us define what you mean when you say they need to be patient. Because some of them came in October, they got the interview.